Hello everyone, welcome back to Bells Creates, my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I step-by-step process make my tapestry crochet sweaters. And basically what I mean by that is I'm gonna have pictures on them. I mostly just do a picture on the front, but this can be altered so that if you want to do different pictures, designs all over the front, sleeves, whatever, I'm gonna describe how you can do that too. But once you kind of figure out the gist of it, it's going to be easy to alter it to how you want it to be. But mostly for the most part, I have done a sweater where I just basically put like a pumpkin face on the front, and that was perfect for Halloween. It was nice and personalized, and it came out so cute after I steamed it and everything, and it was so nice. So a lot of people wanted to get a tutorial step by step how I first of all got the face and then turned it into something I could understand for crochet, how I use the colors and all that. So we're going to be going over all that in this video. So I wanted to explain the whole process of what we're going to be doing and how there's kind of two different methods depending on what you want to do. I am fully, on my whole channel, you'll see that I'm a one panel girl, and what I mean by one panel is that we're only going to sew at the end. We don't sew the front and back side together, we don't sew the sleeves on, we just crochet them all together and then we sew at the end. Depending on how you want to do it, what makes more sense for you, I'm going to show the one panel version, but I feel like the other one is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll kind of describe both. But basically what I do is I make the front panel where we use the crochet graph that we made and we follow it row by row, and then we make the sides, like, so basically we make the hole where the neck is, so we make the shoulders, and then we're going to make a chain to go across, and then we go all the way across. I am going to add a back graph, like I want to do a graph on the back, but since we're going from the top to the bottom, I basically have to follow the graph backwards instead of going from bottom to top, because then it would be upside down, which we don't want. But if you want to do a back and you just want to sew it together, basically you have to just make the front panel and only do half of the shoulders heights, and because before we just did it all and then connected it, but this time you only want half, and then you would just sew the front and back together, and that way you could work on the back panel just going from up and down, basically making the same measurements, everything. You want the front and back to be the exact same basically, and then you would sew together the shoulders and then do the sleeves, whatever. But that's totally up to you. I'm going to show the one panel way, but I want to demonstrate with a little drawing both ways so that it made sense and that you can kind of see where we're going with each one. I do suggest maybe before starting watching the whole video so that you could see the reason for each one, or even just clicking through different sections like that maybe you need clarification on, so that you can kind of see the step-by-step process and why I do certain things. To start off, to find inspo, I like to scroll on either Pinterest or online, wherever you can just find pictures, and there's just a few requirements in order to turn these pictures into, they're called like crochet graphs, alpha graphs. Basically they take the picture and then they make them into each square so that we know where to crochet for each different row, color, whatever. For the most part, I like to crochet my sweaters. It's going to be 70 chains wide and 50 chains tall. So I have to find something that kind of fits in that measurement. For example, it can't be too wide because then I don't even know, it's just going to be too wide. It won't look like a sweater, and it can't be too tall because then it won't look like either. So we want to try to go for something that's more square-like, and for the most part, I like to find stuff. I'm going to be scrolling on my iPad and then I'm going to screen record it, but I like to really find stuff that has just like a plain background, so that could be like an icon or something, and then you're going to find a plain background for it. So I did save a few already, but I could just scroll on Pinterest. A lot of times, sometimes there'll be like, you could say wallpaper, and or like if you have an object that you want in the middle. For example, if I want to do like a butterfly, I could say butterfly wallpaper, and we'll see. And like, for example, this just has a tan background and then the butterfly is just in the middle. So this would be something that I would save, or just different things like that. You want to find different things. You want to find things with just plain backgrounds. I'm trying to see if I can find like another example that isn't it. And if you want to do different designs, it could be something like this. But obviously, completely. You want it to be more simple, because if you do something too intricate and we have to make it into a certain amount of squares, then it won't look as nice as in crochet. So there are a few requirements, but for the most part it does turn out really nice. Like even this little checkerboard one, like this one would kind of be too intricate as a crochet tapestry, but even then you could just look up crochet, what are they called? I think alpha graphs. But these are gonna get you to have smaller ones. I mean, this one, I don't even know how wide it is, but I'm not gonna sit here and count it. But I think it might be, honestly, I don't know, because if that's 70, I wish it had the measurements on it. See, this one's like 55 to 60, so the 60 is kind of too tall. That would just make it too tall. But basically we're looking for things that we can turn into these pictures. But some of these pictures could be cropped so that, like, if you have a huge design that you like, for example, if I want to like crochet, I'll probably do this in a video because I just love him, but Totoro, let's see, Totoro wallpaper. If I wanted to crochet something like this, okay, this would just be insanity, but say I felt like being insane. If it's something that could be cropped, like for example this, we could crop off some of the black and white, then that can work too. But you're probably going to either have to crop it or expand it depending on whatever you want. But I have chosen a few, where is it? For the sweater. I was thinking butterfly or like this green one. I kind of like the tan and green one. But then I also like the sun one. Like this one's going to fill up most of it. But then at the same time, I still can crop it. I think I'm going to go for this one. This is a lot though. I don't know if you're going to, like, I feel like this is too thin. Maybe the flowers. The only thing is, like, I'm saying, like, the sticks almost seem too thin so that once I zoom in, it might not be as nice. Maybe I'll do the sun one. Do I have all those colors? That's the thing, I don't know if I have all those colors. But this is pretty. So I'm going to look through my colors and see if I have enough for all these. But yeah, after I do that, I'm going to teach you guys how to do it from the website to turn these pictures into them, and then maybe you'll have to go back later because you'll realize that like that picture doesn't work with how you want to do it. But for now, I'm just looking for different ones. I decided I want more of like a earthy plant pattern. Like I want these two to be the main, so now I'm gonna have to find something. I know I had that green one before, but I'm still iffy about it. I don't know. Like I feel like once I crochet it, it might just look like a blob, so I'm gonna keep looking. But then I brought like other, this I want to be the background, but then I brought like other colors that might go with it. So I'm gonna keep looking until I finally find a picture. And honestly, I might end up switching it too. But it's part of the process to get a beautiful sweater. I was scrolling on Pinterest and I found like all these different, like, okay, you can't see it. I'm gonna put pictures up, but I found all these little like slug snails that just have the outline, and then I'm gonna add colors to them in Stitchfiddle using like the color palettes that I have. I have to get red hopefully so I can make a strawberry. Hopefully the red I have is kind of bright, but I'm hoping it'll still look good. But then I looked up, it said like slug tattoos ideas from Julia Roblin on TikTok. So then I looked her up on TikTok and she just has a bunch of these different snails. So I think I'm going to do the whole sweater covered in these little slug things and see how that looks. It has like the plain background what I want, and I feel like I'll be able to edit the colors and everything and change the outline. I suggest if you can try to get ones that don't have outline or get rid of the outline, because you're gonna see later on that kind of just makes it more difficult. Like if you have a black outline, it's not like we're just drawing it, like you have to drag that yarn across. So I would really try to get one without an outline per se. But I'm gonna play with this in Stitchfiddle, introduce Stitchfiddle to you guys now that I have that idea. I'm not sure how I want it to go exactly. I was kind of thinking, I'm gonna tell you my thought process when I go in there. But like, I think I'm gonna do a big one on the front, big one on the back, and then like maybe little ones on the sleeves, or I might just do the sleeves a solid color, we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna see how that looks. So now we're going, now that I have the pictures I want to use, I'm gonna go to stitchfiddle.com. So it's stitchfiddle.com. And then I want to open up Pinterest so that it always goes to this pin. Where is it? Etsy sweater. And I'm going to go to my snail. So I kind of want this strawberry to be on the front. So I'm going to save image front. And then I want this one to be on the back. And then we'll figure out the other ones later. Honestly, we'll just do the front ones right now. So you download the photo that you want. So then I download the front and then go to home. These are like the other charts I have. Okay, so then you go to create new chart and then you go to crochet and then you go to color work because that's where we're doing like the pixel crochet, whatever. And then I have no preference in yarn and then from picture. And then I'll go and get my front. So now it's like faded, it's too big, whatever. So like I said, I want it to be 70 wide because that's how wide my sweater is. And then it's like 51. So that one is a perfect size. Meanwhile, you can't even see the colors right now, but we're gonna change that later. We really only want it to be 2 colors. Okay, we'll add more. So that we at least have the outline. So it looks a mess right now, but we're gonna fix it. But here's like, I'll show you different things that you can do. So you could like crop it if I wanted to make it smaller or whatever. If I wanted to make it bigger. What I do like to do sometimes, I'll go in Google Slides and if I like say, here we'll just show you, I'll show you. So I'll go in Google Slides. I don't even know what this presentation is. Okay, it's just a random one. And I'll put my picture in. Where is it? Upload from computer. And then say I wanted it to just be like skinnier, then I would screenshot just this part. Like I would screenshot it like this, right? Or however you can screenshot it. Maybe I want it to be wider, just different things. And then say like the background was a different color for some reason, then you can change the background color and do like little pencils so that it's the same as the image. You feel? Okay. So that's how I crop it if I want it to be a different size. So here are some things I realized while I was crocheting that would be beneficial to you guys. I'm basically done my thing, but I'll show you guys later. But when using half double crochet, so why a lot of people use single crochet when crocheting tapestries is because it keeps the proportions pretty much the same. But when we're going to be using half double crochet, it kind of makes it like taller, and then I plan to steam mine on the end, so that's gonna even stretch anymore. Luckily, I don't really care that mine's gonna be stretched out, but if you care about the proportions and you don't want to stretch it like that, what you could do in Google Slides, or if you have some other editing thing, you can make it smaller, like just not too much, but smaller a little bit. Well, it might, I don't know, you're gonna have to play around with that, honestly. You could also use a gauge swatch, which I know most people hate, but if you really want it to be perfect in proportion, then I suggest seeing like how much it will stretch, the differences and everything. Mine, I don't really care about that much. It's going to be stretched, whatever, and if the size, how stretched it is, doesn't really matter, then that's fine, but you might want to shrink it both in the picture and the graph, like flatten it, so that when you crochet it, the flattened version will just turn to the regular version. I hope that makes sense. I like this one the way it is. So since it's 70 wide, that's how I want it. Then I'm just going to save chart, and then this is where I can edit the colors. So anything that's gray right now, I want it to be black so I can see it. So what I did is I clicked on this little edit yarn colors button. What is that called? Like a palette? I can't remember the word for it. But anything that's gray, I want to be black. So I clicked on the color I want, and then I just change it to black. So those little ones got changed. And I'm going to do that for like every one. Go through black. Eventually we'll get there. Honestly, anything that's not white. And then I'm also, if I really wanted to, I could color with it too. So that's like majority. of it, but like right now it doesn't really look like a thing. So then you can like click on one of the colors that you want to click on or that you want to draw with, and then we can just go in and color on it so that it looks more like this slug that we have. So I'm just going into like the very light gray ones. Maybe I could just change this too. And color black. Right? So now we really have our slug. Let me look at the original image so that I can see his face. Yeah, so it's 2 eyes and then a straight face, which is what we don't have here. So I'm just gonna go through and fix it a little. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that kind of looks like it. Oh no, they were in a straight line though. But I don't mind that face. I feel like these are too big. Like that looks better. Maybe this is too big. And then I want to make this red. So I'm going to add a color. And I'm going to make these red. Can I just do this? Oh no, I don't feel like figuring out other stuff. So I'll make this all red and keep the seeds black. So you can just go through, change your chart however you want to adjust it. It's not going to look perfect as you can see, but once you actually crochet it, it should turn out a little better. But right now we're just having the squares, and each square basically stands for 1 stitch that you're going to crochet. I'm going to be using half double crochet. I know it's typically ideal to use single crochet for crochet tapestries, but it's also not ideal to crochet a whole sweater using single crochet, so you know, you have to make sacrifices. And then I want this to be green, so I'll make the leaves green, and it should be good. Yeah, no, that looks cute. So now it still looks like a snail. I feel like it's not centered though. You see, like, I feel like this is 7 away and this is 10 away. And so if this is 5 away, that's 5 away. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do just some math calculations. Like, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 plus 12 is 17 divided by 2 is like 8. So we want to take 4 off the top. Yeah, I want to delete column. Ooh, I didn't want to delete that column. I wanted to delete the row. Delete row. So that's 1, 2, 3. I keep making it green. 4. So then now we have 8 and then we have 5. So we're going to do add a row. 1, 2, 3. Right? Okay. Sounds good. So you can just play around with your Stitchfiddle and come back to me when you have the graph that you want. You can even practice with this before you even decide to make a sweater or anything you want to make, but I'm just going to edit my graph so that it has the different colors and everything. So we have finished the chart. I'm going to put the chart. I'm going to put it up while I crochet, but I'm also going to screen record a little bit while I do it so I could show you guys. Stitchfiddle is just amazing, the most amazing thing ever. But you can see there's this little thing. I don't know what these symbols are called, but it's round with a pointed end. I don't know, like an ice cream cone. But it's called Progress Tracker, and it tells you what row you're on. But as you can see, if I zoom in, for the first, how many rows? Also, it tells you numbers up here that tells you where you are. So I don't have to do any colors until row 9. So I'm just gonna do 8 rows. So yeah, I'm going to do 8 rows of, how many numbers do I have? 68. So I'm going to start off by chaining 68. So the materials I have, I'm using all weight for yarn, a lot of it, and I'm probably going to use, a 5.5 millimeter hook if I can find it. So we shall see. So first we'll start off with our slip knot per usual. And right now we're starting with the front panel. So I'm gonna, the alpha grid that I had was 68 wide, so I'm gonna chain 68. So now I have my chain of 68, and I'm just gonna do one more so that I can work in the second one. It's just easier that way. And then I'm gonna do 8 rows of half double crochet, which is just when you yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through 1, and then you pull through 3. And I'm just gonna do that for the rest of the row, going all the way down for all 68 chains. So on my chart where I am right now, I'm where the first color is. I think it's 1, 2, 3. So 6, it says 6 stitches in before I have to switch colors. So I'm going to do 6 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On my 6th one is when you leave 3 on the hook. And then I'm going to get the color I want to use for this snail body. And I'm going to pull it through. I just put it right on and pull it through to switch colors. And then I'm just going to leave both tails in the back. Since I want to weave this one in later neat, I'm just going to pull a lot extra. And then on my chart, I just have to, each square that has that color is what I'm gonna put a half double crochet in. And then I'm gonna go through. And then I'll show you when I switch back later. So now I'm back to switching colors again, so I have the 3 loops on the hook again. Instead of dragging this one all across, I really suggest making piles of yarn. If you don't have 2 different, I have 2 different balls of yarn that I can use so that I can make another pile, but if not, I would just pull this one out as much as I can and then cut it so that it had a super long tail. I say this because on the chart you're gonna see that there's 2 sides, there's a right and a left side of the light tan yarn, the cream, so that's why it just makes sense to make it 2 different piles so we could just drag it up each row instead of pulling it across each time. So I'm gonna grab the other ball of yarn I have. Even on most balls of yarn, there's the center pole and then there's the one that's wrapped around. You could also use that one too, but it really does make sense to do just 2 different piles, not from the same yarn. So I'm just gonna switch that out and continue the rest of the way, just changing color for each one. For the snail body, most of it is just gonna be going back and forth until I get to the eyes, and then I'll show you how I just do the ones for the eyes and the mouth once I get there. But basically, this is majority of the tutorial where you're just going to be following the graph that you have made, and for each square color that you have, you want to change colors for each one so that they match. I like to weave in my ends as I go. I'll crochet over it once and then tuck it into the back 2 different times so that it doesn't get loose. But definitely crochet as you go. That just makes it so much easier. And yeah, so just keep following the graph. And then once you finish the top row of your graph, then you could skip ahead. I'll probably put a timestamp there so that the next part is going to be making the shoulders and then starting the back panel. So I'm on the back side. You always want to choose a front and back side, even if the side is going to look the same. And I need to do 13, I guess it would be tan. I don't know what color this would be. We'll say brown, but whatever. But I have to do 13 brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this yarn over and pull it there. But instead of just having this yarn out so that it doesn't look clean, you just crochet over it as it goes. You don't want to do it too tight, but that's going to do for every row. For every row, I'm just going to pull it across and then crochet over it so that at least for the tan part, the brown part, I don't have to make 2 different piles. So I finished making it. Oh, you can't even see. But it's just a snail with a strawberry on its back. And it looks like a square right now, but once I steam it, it'll be longer, whatever. But I'm gonna go over like little parts. I'm gonna fill in, like you see how these kind of look like random? I mean, all of it's a little messy. It's not going to be perfect, but that's like the effect of the crochet. But I want to go over the black ones a little with red. And I did go over the mouth. Like you can see it's more of a straight line instead of edgy because it looked like he had fangs and it was scary. But I'm going to fix it a little and then we'll do the shoulders. I have to weave in some ends too. But this is what we have. We have a snail with a strawberry as its shell. So cute. I finished the snail and the 8 rows after, so now we have to make the neck part, which basically we're going to leave room in the center and then we're going to do the 2 shoulders, and we want to make sure they're even. I like to leave around 15 stitches for as wide as the neck I want. You can adjust it based on how much you want, but basically if I know I want to leave 15 here, then I'm gonna minus 15 from 68, which is the number of chains I have across. That's what I started with. So 15 minus 68 is 53, I think. So 53 divided by 2 is around 26. So I'm gonna do 26 and 26 on each side. I hope that makes sense. So it's basically going 26, 26, which gives us 52, and that's leaving 16 in the center, which is around how much I want. So I'm only going to crochet in 26 stitches, but you're basically going to take your starting stitches and subtract how wide you want the neck to be and then divide that by 2. And I'm going to be working in 26 stitches for 10 rows. So I'm going to do 10 rows of 26, and this is only for the 1 panel tutorial. If I were to do 2, if I were to like make a front and a back, then I would only be doing 5 rows on each shoulder. But I'm going to be doing the front and back shoulders at the same time so that it's 1 panel. So I've done 26 stitches and I'm just going to chain 1, turn my work, and then just do 10 rows of 26 stitches. I did it on one side. I did 10 rows, and now I'm gonna do 10 rows on this side, but I'm not gonna cut it when I'm done because we're gonna chain after we do it. So I'm not gonna cut it after I do it 10 rows on the other side. And I wanted to share, you guys, I made the other, I'm gonna share a picture anyways, but look, I made the other one and it's so cute. Isn't that so? It's gonna look cute when I actually have it on, but I'm excited. Now we have 10 and 10. This is the first side I did that I cut, and this is the side that I didn't cut. So now basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another row of half double crochet on this 26 that I have, and then we're gonna connect it by chaining the number of chains that's here, which I think is 16. So I'm gonna chain 16, and then we're gonna finish this row across. This is how I like how high I want my shoulders to be and how wide I want them to be. You can kind of try it on, see on your body if you like it. I am steaming my piece, which makes it larger, so maybe for you, you want to add more rows, maybe like a smaller neck or whatever, but this is how high, this is basically the part that goes over our shoulders, so you can adjust that how you like. But I'm just going to do half double crochet over my first 26, and then I'll let you know the next step. So we should be on the inside now. I just did my 26 across, which means I'm going to chain my 16. And so on this side, we have 11 rows, and on this side, we only have 10. So after I change my 16, I'm just going to go right into this side and do half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I just yarn over and go right, I'm gonna hold it so it stays there, and then just go right into this first stitch on the other side, which is right here. So I yarned over already so that I can just pull through, have 3. It might twist a little, so you might have to twist it back or just go one by one. And then you should just be able to half double crochet across. So what this does is gets us back to our original count that we had, which I had 68, so that I can just keep working on the rows. And this is technically the top of the back panel. So like I said before, if you wanted to do a pattern, a graph on the back, you want to work from the last row, the top row, instead of working from the first row, so that your piece isn't upside down. Unless that's what you want, but you know, creative freedom here. So I'm just gonna go all the way down on this side of the 26, which is the 11th row on this side. Like I said before, if you're doing 2 panels, like a front and a back one, instead of just doing it all at once, then you would just do 5 and 5 on each side so that it's even. It would only be 10 high, but you just wanna make sure that the front and back are the same amount so that it's just even amount of stitches. So then I'm just going to turn my work, and then I have this long, this equals 68, which is my starting. So I'm just going to do half double crochet here, half double crochet in the chains, and then half double crochet down the rest, which is going to be my first row of the back. And you want to make sure that the front and back have the same amount of rows so that they're not different lengths, so that you just don't have like a really short front or a really long back or whatever, vice versa. So you want to make sure that it's the same amount of rows, same width. You don't want different sized fronts either. But this is more of a baggy look for me, so the size, you won't really be able to tell if like it's a few stitches off, but for the most part you want it to be the same number. So I'm just going to finish this 26. And we're done the neck part. We're starting the back part, first row of the back part. And then once I'm done that, I'm going to go right into this chain. And I should have 16 chains. I am going to add ribbing or just do rows of half double crochet once I've finished the whole piece around the neck, just to make the neck neater. It could be left like this, but I just do one around the circle and the neck. Later on, you could add like single crochet ribbing, or I know people, I can't remember what it's called, but they do different versions of ribbing. But that's the simplest way for me to do it, is just rows of half double crochet. And then I finished the chain, so I'm just going to go right back into this, over this row of half double crochet, and just go all the way through. And you see it's connected. So now you're just going to follow the same pattern. You can also leave this back. I know that's popular a lot of times, where the front would just be tapestry and then the back would just be plain, but I'm going to add one for the back. And I'm going to be doing it upside down. Please don't forget to do it upside down. But here's where your head will go. So I've been grinding because I have to finish this before I leave for my track meet, and I finished. I'm going to show you guys the front first. I still have to weave an end. I was too lazy to do the back, to be honest, but I'll do it eventually. But this is the front, and then this is the back. He ate it, and it's so cute. Let me show you. Like, he literally ate the strawberry. I just feel like this sweater tells a story. Like, is that not cute? Okay, but now we're gonna do the sleeves. I'm not sure if I want to add like little strawberries, maybe like on the wrist part, but I'm gonna teach you guys how to do sleeves. There's different methods on doing this. You could either just make rectangles and sew them on, but I'm gonna crochet them right on. So like basically right now we have a vest. Let me do the front. Put my head in here. Yeah, so we have a vest. You can either pinch to see how wide you want it to be. So like I would put a stitch marker here and then count how wide I want it to be. But I've crocheted this a bazillion times, so I know that I'm going to do it 54 wide. That's a good number for me. And basically we're just going to be crocheting on the side. But I'm going to teach you guys, oh, see, my hair's a mess. But I'm going to teach you guys how to, basically we're going to turn our work to the side and then crochet our sleeves right on. So as you can see, I put my work on the side. We've been working up and down this whole time, but now we're going to work on the side where the sleeves are going to go. I need to count out, so from the middle, so that it's even on each side, and I can't find any stitch markers, so I'm just going to use old yarn to count it. But if you have stitch markers, I would use that too. So I know that we did 11 rows here, so the middle will be like 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's the 6th one is the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So I'm gonna go through this row, and since I know I want to do 54, depending on how wide you want it to be, I'm gonna count 27 away on each side, and the 27 away is gonna be the start and finish of where I want to crochet. So what row are we in? This one? 1, 2. So if you want extra guidance, you can also put a stitch marker in the middle too, but from here to here is 54. So this is where I'm going to start to do half double crochets, and this is where I should finish. I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in each row. So I counted 1 for each row, and then that should be 54. So all I do is I just make a slip knot, and then go on the side. Then I insert my hook in the row I want to be in, and then just pull the slip knot through. Not all the way through, but just the top. And then I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in each row. And I like to count as I go just to make sure I'm staying on track. So as you can see, I just have 1 row of half double crochet going from start to finish, and I'm just going to keep going up. I do around 30 rows, but this all, I said in the I'm going to say this in the beginning, but it all depends on whether you're not blocking or not. Like, you can try it on as you go to see if it's the length you like, or use measurements or whatever, but I do 30 rows because I know when I block it, it expands, and that's good enough rows for me. But I'm just going to keep doing rows of half double crochet. This is another place that if you wanted to add another crochet tapestry part, then you can. I think I might add little strawberries on the wrist, like I said before. So that is another way that you can add it. It could be the whole sleeve, it could just be like little ones, whoever fits in this dimension. For example, this is going to be a 54 by 30. So depending on what you want to fit in that, how you like how it looks. But remember, this part we're going to be folding in half to make the circle that is a sleeve. So keep that in mind as well. But I'm going to do this for both sides, and then we're going to have a big plus sign, and then you can come back when you're done. So now I have the piece all sewn together. So I'm just gonna make a ribbing for the neck, which I'm just gonna basically do probably 3 rows of half double crochet. There's a lot of different ways to do ribbing, but this one's just the easiest and it still looks nice. But if you want a more professional look, I know there's a lot of different, like I know people do single crochet, back loop only, go around. I've done that for a lot of my sweaters. But I'm just gonna do half double crochets. You can change the color of the ribbing that you want, but I'm just gonna do the same one. I start off by making a slip knot, and then I'm just gonna go around, insert my hook into the neckline, and then just go around doing half double crochets. You can do any amount of rows that you like based on how much of the ribbing you want, but I typically do 3. If your neckline is too big or too small, that's where I would go, well, if your neckline is too big, I would go around and add single crochets and then maybe add single crochet decreases to shape the neckline how you want. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just gonna go around in this circle right here and put in half double crochets. So I only ended up doing 2, but it still looked fine. And it's just to have like a nice ending. And then what I'll do is I'll cut the yarn, leave an end so that I could weave it in. And then I just like to slip stitch the last, go into the last one and just do a slip stitch and then pull through to make a knot and then weave that in. And then the sweater is done. I'm gonna go block it so that it's bigger and more flowy. I'm not gonna show that part because it's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to see, I do have a YouTube video on it, the easiest blocking method, where I just basically steam it. But besides that, you're basically done. Thank you so much for watching. And this is it all done. Here's the front, and here's the back of the snail eating it. I don't know if you can see, but it actually came out so cute. And I think I want to block it. I want to steam it just a little bit more so that it's even more flowy and stretched out. But I was scared that this was going to look a little crazy, but I think it still looks fine and everything. But I hope your sweater turned out cute. If you did make a tapestry sweater, I would love to see it. I would love for you to send me or tag me or anything on Belle's Create is just my app for everything. So if you could find a way to contact me, that'd be great, because I feel like this is even more fun one. I always love when you guys send me different stuff and the creative ways that you can incorporate just pictures and sketches and everything. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.